I'm 34 years old, and I've decided that I want to become fluent in Japanese by the end of 2026. I just came back from Japan, and I feel like I couldn't say more than a handful of phrases, which made me feel like I left out half the trip. I could order food, I could get around, but I couldn't quite connect with people. I couldn't joke with the bartender, I couldn't talk to the girl next to me at the izakaya, or I couldn't ask the grandma at the market about her life. So I made a decision. I'm learning Japanese at 34, and I'm giving myself until the end of 2026 to become fluent. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing the exact plan I'm going to be following to achieve real conversational fluency and the rules I'm giving myself before I visit Japan next year for another 3 months or maybe even more. So if you're learning Japanese or any other language and you feel a little bit too old, then this one is for you. And I've decided that I want to become fluent in Japanese by the end of 2026. So why am I doing this? I run my own business. I'm not a teenager with a limited free time, and Japanese isn't the easiest language to learn in the world. Well, here's how my brain works. My excitement for life comes from challenges, whether it's building a business, building my body, or signing up for something that scares me even just a little bit. But this time, it's learning Japanese so I could use it in Japan. Kind of like I said earlier, on my last trip to Japan, I loved it. But in the back of my head, I was thinking the whole time, hey, if I actually spoke Japanese, this trip will be entirely different. What if instead of pointing at menus and saying kore kudasai, I could actually banter with the chef? What if instead of awkward taxi rides, I could actually ask the driver about his favorite spots? When I go back to Japan next year for a few months, I don't just want to be surviving on random phrases. I want to be semi-fluent enough to live my day in Japanese. That is the mission. So let's define what fluency actually means, because it could range anywhere from, hey, I know anime quotes, to, hey, I'm reading Japanese novels. For me personally, I would love to have a 20 to 30-minute conversation with a Japanese friend about work, life, relationships, whatever, without switching to English. Go through a full day in Japan, train station, restaurants, casual chats, all in Japanese, or watch a whole YouTube video in Japanese without needing 60 to 7% of the subtitles. I don't need to sound like a whole Tokyo newscaster. I just want to sound natural enough and confident enough that people forget that I'm a whole beginner after just a few minutes of conversation. Now, when I started looking at how other people learn Japanese, I noticed a pattern. Most people do one of these three things. They take one class a week and expect magic to happen. They half commit to an app for 10 minutes a day and call it studying. Or they move to Japan for the hopes of immersion, but they never really immerse themselves and they still live their lives in English. And all three usually end in the same place. 2 years later, and they still can't hold a conversation. So I'm placing some rules for myself so I don't fall into the same trap. Rule 1 is if I have a tutor once or twice a week, that's just a bonus. It's not the main meal. Rule number 2, apps are supplemental tools, not the whole strategy. I'm currently using Duolingo. I think it's a fun way to get introduced to the language, but it won't get you to the finish line. It won't get you speaking about life in Japanese over some drinks with a friend. Rule number 3, living in Japan doesn't equal to learning Japanese. I'm looking for intentional practice, not just vibes. So instead of pretending this will be easy, I'm building my whole plan around one idea. Massive, enjoyable immersion plus focused study every single week. Now let me walk you through exactly what I'm doing. And if you're learning Japanese too, feel free to tweak this, steal this, or roast it in the comments. 1, Duolingo, but it's the warm-up, not the workout. I use it like stretching right before the gym. It keeps you motivated with streaks. It has me touching the language daily, but I'm not betting on it to take me to fluency. 2, a structured online Japanese course, something that explains grammars and rules, not just random phrases. This is where I'll build the skeleton from basic sentence structure to particles like wa and ka, to different verb forms from like I went to I'm going to I will go. 3, physical flashcards. I'm a big believer in having something tangible because I feel like the brain makes a better connection when I can actually touch it and hold it. I'll use decks for travel words, daily life, and words that come up in different casual conversations. 4, tutor sessions twice per week to get actual practice speaking the language, because 80% of it comes from speaking, in my opinion, and to get real-time feedback. Number 5, daily mini immersion, making my life a bit more Japanese. Japanese YouTube for 20 to 30 minutes, or shadowing, where you listen to a show or you listen to a native speaker speaking. You pause the line after they say it and you repeat it out loud, literally the same way that they just said it. It's a great technique called shadowing. Now you might be thinking, okay, cool, that all sounds great, but how do you do this while actually working full-time and living a life? Well, here's my rough weekly structure. In the mornings, I have planned 15 to 30 minutes of light study, Duolingo, plus a handful of flashcards. Evenings, 3 to 4 times a week, 45 to 60 minute deeper study. That might be a course lesson, reviewing grammar, or doing some tutor homework. And 2 tutor sessions plugged into my calendar like business meetings, non-negotiable. A total should be about 7 to 10 focus hours a week, plus immersion layered on into my day. Now, I'm not going to pretend that this is all motivational posters and aesthetic notebooks, because there's some real very fears and doubts when it comes to learning a new language, especially in your 30s. Number 1, I'm scared of putting this out on the internet and failing publicly. 2, I'm scared of engaging in conversation with a Japanese native, then my brain just stops working mid-convo. 3, I'm scared that business, life, travel will get in the way and it ends up dying like most goals. But at the same time, I don't want to be 44, 54, 64 thinking like, man, I really wanted to learn Japanese when I was younger, but I never really took that first step. I'd rather try, struggle, feel dumb, and make just a little bit of progress more than where I am now, opposing to staying comfortable and never crossing that line. So this isn't just about Japanese. This is about proving to myself that my 30s could still be a decade of acquiring new skills, opening up a whole new culture and its own language, and showing up in Japan in 2026 and actually being someone who could belong in a conversation. I think all of that is worth the discomfort itself. So here's what I'm doing next. Over the next year, I'll be sharing periodic updates of what's working, what's going okay, and what's not working at all. And I really want to go ahead and document and share that Japan trip next year, but hopefully in half Japanese, half English. So if you're learning Japanese or any other language too, go ahead and drop a comment and let me know what your age is, what got you started, and what your goal is. I would really love to hear. And if you're already fluent, I would love your advice. Now, if you want to see if I crash or burn or actually pull this off, make sure you subscribe, because I'll be sharing all of the updates that I mentioned here and more on this channel. And this time by 2026, I want to be able to sit down and film a whole video in Japanese. That's the vision. If that excites you, if you just want to follow along, again, make sure you subscribe, because I got you. We're in this together.